But here he keeps rolling. All right.
Karaoke with Dave.
Carrie, yeah, it sounded pretty good, but I like the man in black. That's why I was dressed in black. My son's name is Cash.
I know.
So he's 10 years old, and Mr. Cash Wilson. And it's funny for the business. Who do you write the check out to? Cash Wilson.
Cash money.
Cash money. Well, that's what I call him on the football. Ladies and gentlemen, here comes Cash money. And he's only 10. He's like, he used to be like, Dad, it says cash only. I said, that's you, buddy.
Oh, man.
All right. How you doing this morning, man?
Hey, pretty good. Beautiful Tuesday here in Pittsburgh. Another sunny day. I mean, I got to say, 90-degree weather here in Pennsylvania for the last 3 weeks. This is amazing.
It is not. It was hot yesterday. It was like 106.
I feel like we're back like when we were in kindergarten and second grade, where it was like dog days of summer where it's so hot. I mean,
oh my God. Hey, this morning's topic, we're going to hit 2. We'll keep it like 15, 20-minute show again. But I wanted to first start off with the fun thing. I know a lot of people don't like to talk about subjects. Mm-hmm. And everybody would, Richard doesn't know what the show's about until I can show you the text. What's the topic? Don't worry. I like putting Richard on the spot.
He does. Oh, boy.
So it's exciting because you're like, what's the topic? I don't know.
Exactly. My heart's pounding too, man. I'm like, oh, boy, here we go. No research either.
That's right. Because look, I did my research.
And mine's right here.
Right in your mind. Right in your mind.
Yeah, buddy.
Hey, this morning I wanted to talk about the first thing that a lot of people don't like and have different opinions on is the non-compete.
Wow. Where do I begin on them, Dave? And I think everybody that's been in a business, especially sales or manager, you probably got one from a company that says, you know what? Don't steal my leads. Don't steal my people.
Yes.
Well, where do I begin? And you know what? I did take a little sneak peek. I found
I love this one.
About
I love it.
10 years ago from a company. I'm not going to mention a name. Basically saying that I took their trade secrets from 1990. So basically that's 24 years ago. I took their trade secrets and their contacts. Dave, most of them people would be retired by now, right?
Yeah.
And if I have business cards,
cell phones.
And if I have business cards because I was out in the field with them all day and I met with the HR people, I get to keep that. I mean, that's my lasting relationships. Yeah, you can have the emails and everything like that. I can call them up any given time. I mean, we're in America. It's don't tell me, well, you got to wait 2 years and you can't work this job and you got to just work retail or something.
Oh, yeah.
All I can say about non-competes, there are so many loopholes. Remember this. If you're a sales rep and you get fired or you leave your job, you're the one making that human connection, not the company. The company will try to put another sales rep in to talk to the HR people. And guess what? HR don't want to talk to somebody else because they said, we wanted to deal with Richard, Dave, or whoever.
Oh, yeah.
It's a no-brainer, right?
That is so true.
Hey, Alberto,
there he is. And he's going to be on our show soon.
I know.
So this is so funny when you say that because, I mean, typically nobody really understands it until it happens to you. Really, because I didn't even know. I was like, what? What did I sign? I don't even remember signing stuff because when you get hiring, you're like, oh, they throw that little thing in there. Oh, yeah, I guess I did do it. But, it says you typically go to court, and that had happened to me. And the average cost to fight it is $10,000. That's the average.
Yep.
If you want to go to court, hire an attorney. Trust me, I was $7,000 into it, and I gave up.
But you know what? The company has to spend the money too, and I think that's where people have to understand. These companies, when you leave, they're like big bullies. That's why they can't give you a reference check, and they can't only say when you work and when you left. They can't say anything else. So all I can say about non-competes, don't worry, because at the end of the day, if you did everything right, don't let them scare you.
Well, that's what you learn, because when you go to the attorney, let me tell you, I was just being proactive on myself. I was scared to death, man. I was like, how the hell, what is this? 30 miles, this crap, this way, that way. What do I do? Say if it's like 2 miles short, so, oh God, I'm going to calm. This is just the first subject, but when you're entering, it says, you really need to sign it. Because if you're going to an employer, let's face it, if you don't sign it, you're not going to get hired.
But here's what's great about it, Dave. Some of these, and this is, I'm going to say crazy about it. I had one company, 3 years non-compete, 3 years. So
I heard about that.
half
Mine
my
was only a
career
year.
and 100-mile radius. So if I live 50 miles from the office, I can't work. So I have to go 101 miles away. But here's the catch, though. If your office is 101 miles away, it never said anything that you can't work with companies in the location. It said the office.
No, right. Oh, that's right. Yeah, my attorney told me that. You're right, because it was 35 miles to my work, and he had it all down. He had, oh yeah, you can do this, and then I was scared to death. And like I told you, I was like, oh my God, my stomach. I was spending money for no reason. I did it all because of myself.
And when you leave a company, here's what the worst thing about it is. If you're a good business owner, you should say, hey, go and do your farewell tour. Talk to everybody and say you're leaving. Yes. Guess what they tell you? If you get terminated or you quit or you seek another job, you're gone that day. They call somebody else up and say, well, Richard's no longer around. Dave's no longer around. Where'd they go? We don't know. Just left.
Yeah.
And then you have to go explain to HR because you built that report. They call you on your regular home cell phone and say, what's going on? And then you got to be honest with them, right? I mean, come on.
Yes. And that's what, here we go. Look at this. In Illinois, a non-compete is non-binding unless you have been working for the company for 2 years plus. That's pretty cool to know. I didn't know that.
Good information.
I'm sure different states.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so what I want to go into there with about it is, all right, so you've signed it. You made the decision to leave, or they kind of forced you out. That, this favorite word of mine was manage them out. What?
Yes.
Manage them out. Get that. What the heck is that? The guy's got 10 years. Manage them out. Oh, you got to be friggin' nuts.
Well, that's I know one time I had a situation where they would not give me my final check till I signed a non-compete at the end. You really can't do that, right? You can't hold somebody's check hostage. But you know what? Sometimes you just want to get peace and you want to move on, so you sign it. You're
right, and you have to. And then in Pennsylvania, I did a lot of research, and the council, let me just say council, that I still have, it's like companies don't like to get involved with that because they really lose a lot, because he was stating that unless you're like, it should be set at like a fee, like if you're making $250,000 or above, or but the people that are making say 75 or 100,000, 50,000 and below, come on, seriously. And they're going to change eventually. They're trying to change a lot. There's some bills that are announced, and I looked into, and they're really looking at them hard, because I feel, unless I'm wrong, tell me, because you're the shark.
Go for it.
If it's your fault, let's just say you really screwed up. You know what? And you were terminated because of a reason that, hey, it was legitimate.
Yeah.
But say it wasn't your fault. Let's just say it's not your fault. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, what did I do?
Exactly. Like they just say you're not a fit, or it's time to move on, or you're just not the chemistry. What do you point? Well, I just know in Pennsylvania, doing research and over the years of experience, we're at work state. So they cannot deny you work at all. No. That non-compete in Pennsylvania, I'm going to give you a tip. Doesn't. There's a loophole. Everybody gets a non-compete. Call me up. I'll tell you about it. I've seen it before. And you know what happens is when you leave a company to another company, because in my situation in staffing, and I'm sure you're the same way, Dave.
Oh, yeah.
It's like football. Give you a better contract. I go to that company and say, hey, can you match this? No, we can't. Well, I guess it's time for me to move on. Well, you can't do that. And it's like, well, you're making all the profit, you owners. I mean, either pay me what I'm worth, or I'm going to move somewhere else. And you're very nice about it. But most of the time, the owners don't accept that. They don't want to praise you. And that's one thing about me. I always say, if I have a lot of people working for me, I want you to better yourself. Just don't burn me. We can work together, right?
Right. And that's why I said, listen, no matter where you go, if you're in sales, like you said, staffing and a lot of higher up jobs, very skill set, you're going to have to sign them. That's just part of the business.
You have to.
And I'm sure some of them have to be enforceable, because like you said, some of those skills, wow. You could probably, I understand it. I really do get the concept, because you invest a lot of money into an employee, and they could really take those trade secrets, like you said, to somewhere else. And I understand that totally. And the attorney was telling me he's had some big cases, and he agrees with some of them, because you have to,
Exactly.
So, and this runs into my next one, because I think that's enough on that. But, you know, a lot of the companies don't like to get involved also because they have to involve the customer, the client also. So if you reach out to someone that you're not supposed to, they don't want to get them involved. Let's see, Alberto, this is where the average tenure of a salesperson comes into play. Some companies just like the first 2 salespeople.
Exactly. You know, the longer you stay with a company and the more successful you become, you get that bullet on your head. I hate to say it that way, but you know, if you're the top gun, you're going to get gunned at the end. That's what I always say. It's a true story too. You can only be on top so long before people start gunning you. That's
what I mean. And this leads into my next subject. And I can't wait. And it's no secret. And I better shut up. Not too much. But listen, 34 days, and who's counting? Listen, I don't have anything. I had to let it go. There's no more anger. You can tell. There's no more. Look at the smile.
Great, Dave, because if you're angry with that company, guess who's winning? The company is. That's in life with anybody, people. If you get frustrated with somebody, steam it out in 5 minutes and go away. Because if you keep get anger about it, guess who's winning? They're beating you down internally.
My wife would sit there and say, go take a walk and just tit for tat, let it go. And it took a while, but I can tell my story. I'm hoping to have Heather Monahan on, Fire Your Villain, as a co-host, because that's what she went through. And I said, come on. I said, I cannot wait, because I am so, cannot wait to tell my story.
Breathe real quick, Dave.
All right. Okay. So here we go into the bad bosses.
Oh, bad bosses or horrible bosses, the movie. Just the same thing, right?
Well, how would you suggest you deal with a toxic boss?
How many times I have to say I've dealt with that? 1, 2, 3, maybe every time. I think the first thing is, just to let you know about a toxic boss. If you guys have one key element, I'm going to tell you this: they're jealous of your success. Sorry about it, guys. It's jealousy. It doesn't matter if it's a guy or girl, your supervisor. They're jealous of your success. So then they will put points on you. But here's what comes down to: at the end of the day, if you're doing a great job and your boss is making actually more commission, than you feel good. Hey, but if you start slipping, maybe having a bad month, guess who's the higher ups are going to look at that boss, right? And guess who the finger pointed at?
Yeah, don't matter how many years.
We are out in the field, maybe need some extra help or, some more recruiters. Guess what? You need to get it done or you're under, and they throw you under the bus. Every time a boss will throw you under the bus. I have not in my career, maybe one time, have seen one boss fight for me. They throw you under the bus to save their job. And
you're good.
And you know what? I'm not like that. And with one company, I spoke out on somebody and got myself in a little bit of trouble because the one employee, they were treating her so bad. I said, I'm sticking up for you. I'm on your side. When you go to court, I'm on your side. And I did. And they're like, well, you can't do that. Oh, I can do whatever I want, Yeah. And you know what? That's where that human love is, where you got to say, this is the right thing. I mean, just don't follow the leader is what I'm saying.
And that's what I learned a lot is they were saying how a bully is unlikely to change their behavior. So you got to get to understand the bully, understand him. And when I look through some of these wordings, it makes sense because if you understand the person, understand where he's coming from or she, it doesn't matter from their prior employment, you need to check into all that to understand him. And I understand that. And then the next one was, set silent limits. I kind of looked at that and I feel, and I'll let you answer, is I think that's because all of a sudden you got that person that's outspoken and you become quiet.
Totally agree on that. And you know what? I'm just going to do a little twist on it here. Your boss, you're probably going to be, if you're in sales and you have a supervisor or VP, you're probably working with them hand in hand. Probably saying some stuff you shouldn't say about you get too personal. And I think that's a big thing, a topic we could talk about a little bit today is don't get personal with your boss or any coworker. Don't tell them about your relationships. I mean, it's great to have cookouts at your house maybe once or twice a year, but if you start like hanging out with them, maybe going to a bar after work, friction will eventually rise to the top. I'm telling you, every time. It is. So keep that distance, that professional relationship, but the personal one, limit. You got to limit.
And I think everybody learns. You go through that, and I learned a lot through a process. You just learn, because then they were saying, want to like build a network. Don't gossip. Like you really have to be careful. If you know something's, if you have that gut feeling, you really sometimes got to go with it. Like if you're you think you know what's going on, but try not to gossip, because again, I've learned, and only from years of experience, it comes back to you.
It does. And you know what? As soon as you start a job, guess what? The first 2 days or 3 days, they pull you in a corner in the lunchroom and tell you, stay away from this person, right? It happens at every company. You know what? It happens to me. You know what? I treat everybody, till you do something bad to me, everybody gets an equal playing field. And that's how we have to think too, because that person that somebody else doesn't like, there's always two sides of the story, right?
Right. No, it's true. And that's, you said it. Did you read my paper this morning?
Dave, I have 2 cups of coffee in me, buddy. I got the alert.
Set the personal boundaries. Every time I try to read something new, you've already answered it.
It's the glasses today, buddy.
All right. So this is the most important thing. And we got like 4 more minutes. So I tell everybody, and I have a great friend, a colleague that I cannot thank enough. And this is about no companies that I can mention, because I have had so many companies and I just want to be careful. But documentate every single thing and prepare for war. That's what she told me.
Exactly. And remember, if they send you inappropriate emails,
yes,
save them, because everybody falls into that trap.
Yes.
I have self-will, so I don't do it, but they emotions run high. You're driving, you're going to send a work email out, a boss to say something inappropriate to you. Save that for ammo later in life. You know what I mean? I hate to say it, but you got to be on your defense mode at all times, because once you open your heart and everything, they're going to eat you alive. Because
they say, and here's another one, go to HR.
Mm-hmm.
HR to me scares the hell out of me still. They're like a principal. They are. If you don't, HR does not call. I love HR. They know I love them.
No.
But they don't call you in your office just to say, hey, Rich, how you doing, buddy? They don't.
Well, you know what? Some of these companies, they're rough. Instead of the morning, I worked with a guy in sales. We worked the whole day. They called in the office at 4:59 and fired him on the spot. So they got a whole day of work out of him because he had appointments. They were waiting till he got every appointment done, and then they knifed him.
Yeah.
They cut his email off. We're driving back. He's like, my email's not working. They cut his email off while we're still out on the road.
And that's what I mean. That's what I don't like about that at will and all these things, because there's no loyalty. There's not as much loyalty. And I know these subjects, I know we're laughing a little bit, but having fun. But these are conversations that I believe people can relate to.
Exactly.
Listen, I know people are watching right now. I know it, and they want to jump in, but they can't. But like, again, back to the HR. I love HR. I stick up for them, but they're thank God they're so busy with staffing, because they don't have time to be.
They have one of the toughest jobs in the company. HR is like your front line. They're like the center. I mean, everything's on their shoulders at all times.
But they need to be doing that type of work, not staffing. I know that's another subject, but they're so busy that nobody really, some of these bigger companies, they don't even know who HR is. They don't even know the names of the people, because they've never met them sometimes, unless there's something wrong.
You're right.
But the reason I wanted to say about keep a file, keep everything. And I tell you, look at the veins on my neck going, woo,
man.
Did
you just do the Ric Flair?
Yeah.
You just did it.
You can see it's a sore subject with me, but
yeah,
when you prepare for war and you really, I love that saying, but when you could take something like this, notice the color. What color is it?
Red.
You see all that?
Yep.
That is prepare for war.
Red Dawn, like the movie Red Dawn back in the 80s, right?
Yes, and that is prepared for. Oh, look what we have. Cynthia.
Nice.
Gossip is everywhere. I prefer to stay quiet, focused, and do the job I was hired for. I tell people I will listen, but not pass judgment, because there are two sides to a story. I learn best to distance myself.
You're totally right. Boom.
How much better? How much better can you say that?
And Dave, real quick on this bad boss thing, look at your boss and see, and ask them questions and see if they go out in the field with you. I've been a branch manager at 3 different companies, and you know what? I work right with the recruiters, the sales reps. I'm actually working harder than them. They're like, dude, it's my job. That's not part of it. We're a team. I'm out there right with them till 7 o'clock at night trying to get the deal because it benefits both of us, right?
I'm trying not to laugh, Rick. I'm trying not to laugh. One of my former colleagues, I can't do it.
Oh my!
We were both. I know. I can't put it on there. I can't.
It's like that pop-up video. Come on, Dave. 1 second.
Just 1 second. Here we go. Ready? Boop, boop. That's it. He's a great man. He's a great man. But that's another subject on that. Oh my God! Look, I'll probably turn red as anything, and that was good. But and there's a person watching. So my point is there about let's back it up. Like you said, you go to HR. You're scared to tell someone because you have a lot on the line there. You have a family. You've been with that company for 10 years, 15. In corporate America, and I'm sorry, people sometimes don't want to say it, they're scared. They need their job.
Exactly. And they'll do anything to save their butt. I mean, I guess you have to give and take on it. I can't do that, Dave. I can't buy into the system. If somebody's doing something wrong, now if somebody's not working hard, and I'm not going to throw them under the bus, we're going to talk to them as a team. And if they have a supervisor, I'm like, hey, let's just pick it up, man, because you're going to get in trouble. You have to put that third party in there too, Just don't run to HR and say, well, that person just, took an extra 2-hour lunch. There'll be a tattletale, tattletale. You know what I mean? Not at all.
And I think with being honest, you have to deal with it because it got to the point to where if you don't confront the issue, and it's really, that can take a toll on your family.
Oh, big time. I mean, how many times have you come home? I mean, I love staffing. In my first 2 companies, there's times I'd come home and I just would I didn't want to go to work in the morning. The pressure was on.
Yes.
Because they have to get numbers to make money. But you know what? They want to grow so quick. They don't know how to grow gradually. They want to just do it like this. And that burns everybody out, gets everybody irritable, and usually people quit.
Well, when you look back, a lot of really your top talent are the ones that leave because of a bad boss. Most
of your top talent have started their own companies now. It's that way. They're like, I'm going out on my own and do it my way, which is great. I mean, I commend everybody and praise everybody that starts their own company.
I do, because you've done what you did. You had to, when you confront the issue, it's a great feeling. You go through emotions. What about my job? What about this? It gets to the point to where sometimes you don't care. You're like, you know what? You have nothing to lose. And it's okay, because I think as years with experience, as a manager and yourself, that I can teach or help somebody coach them through the same thing because you've experienced it.
I totally agree. I mean, and you know what? And then you have to understand that sometimes when you work for a company, you're closed in the corner. As you know, Dave, with me and yourself, I think outside the box. I hate to say that word, but I'm always creative. And guess what? If you bring it to the corporation, you know what they say? Nah, we're just going to stick with our regular ideas. Or they'll take your idea and say, thanks.
Yeah.
I've had that before. My boss puts a stamp on it and says, here's $100 under. Dude, you just got recognized by 20,000 people in your company, and I did all the work. And I'm like, nah, it doesn't work that way, man. And then I started saying, I want a little bit of credit. No, dude, I'll cover you in the end. So, and then you hear stuff like that, then you're like, I don't want to work for this company anymore. You know what I mean? So
no, it's a toxic, and that's where we went back to a toxic boss. And I want everybody to believe that what we're talking about, we'll finish up here in a minute, is this isn't about tit for tat. You got to smile. No, it's not, but it's just conversations that, you see on LinkedIn all the time, all the great sayings and all the stuff that we put up about, quotes. If we really were to follow them, a lot of them, I don't think we'd have jobs on some of them.
What I always say, a lot of words, but no action, right, Dave? We say that with political stuff. I mean, seriously, at the end of the day, we got to have action here. And I think down the road we should have a town hall. Me and you should have a town hall with a bunch of people on this at once.
It is.
We don't.
Because I'm very loyal.
Names. We should be open. I think this is a subject. Everybody had bad bosses. It might be a great topic to bring maybe 10 to 15 people on. Let them vent a little bit about a company. You don't have to bring the name up and talk about their experiences, because now we're helping other people. It's like probably sitting at home saying, wow, drinking their coffee. Wow, this happened to me too.
Yes. And that, listen, it's the most, what I would say to a lot of people real quick is think of your family, because in experience, I didn't for a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I went to that side, that zone, that dark zone a little bit. I would walk, keep to myself, not talk to people. You got to take care of your family and listen and reach out to people, because what I've learned personally is reach out in those connections of yours. And I don't care what my age is, but what would you do? Like, could you give me some advice? Because it's like everything, like when a breakup of a boyfriend, girlfriend, everybody says, oh, you'll get through it. You'll find another, just like a job. But you got to listen and just think of your family. If I had to look back, I made the right decision.
Exactly. Look where you're at right now.
Yes. Yeah. I made that decision, and I would never, if this company, something would happen, I'd go somewhere else. I'm very loyal. I will do my job, and I would expect the same if I have a great manager, because I've had some great managers. Boy, look at the smile. I've had some people that, listen, just by their tones of their email, you knew you better straighten up. But as a leader, that's their job. And they kept their distance. Just like you said, I had a couple that you didn't associate on Facebook. Like I've learned, keep that Facebook stuff separate.
Exactly.
You know, they'll see it if they want it, but it's only because I've learned, and in my experience, and I've grown, and I think you can say the same thing, because you've been there. You've been to that mountain. You know, it's easy for us to sit here now and talk about it, but I really feel sorry for the people and the candidates, and it can be in any position.
You're right. It
does not matter, HR and above, because I get calls, and I'm sure you do, for positions that I get emails like, what should I do? Can you help me? And I'm like, wow, I know that feeling. And that's where I'm going to leave it at you and give you that final 10, 15 seconds of what you always say. And, we'll be back again tomorrow, but you know what I mean by that. Because Richard, let me tell you, Richard is crazy. He spends a lot of time on his hair. He's always 2 minutes late before the show.
Man, now
I texted you.
Come in. Bad boss.
But I said, you're late. You're worse than, I can't say you're worse than, I was going to say, I got to watch that stuff. But you're worse. What are you doing? Your hair?
Brew my coffee.
I'll leave you on that great note of what we talked about today and what can people take away from this show. And I thank you and for talking about this.
Oh, no, always. Oh, it's great. Hey, the one thing I want to say is non-competes. Remember, don't get too caught up in it. If you ever need any advice, reach out to me, Dave. We'll help you out as much as we can, or find their expertise in that field. So if you ever get a non-compete, let's sit down, hash it out before you go to the next step. And all I want to say about bad bosses is we've all had them. We all have good bosses. You know what? Like Dave said, gut feeling. If you see your boss is being very active with you and really caring, show a little bit of love back, but keep that distance too, that professional distance. And hopefully everything works out, But if you guys ever need to vent about bad bosses, let us know, because we've all been there. Yes. And remember, at the end of the day, we're all together. I keep saying togetherness, but we are. So we're here to hear everything out at any given time. And last thing I want to say is, remember, love yourself so you can love other people. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Let's talk to you tomorrow. Thanks, Rich. Here we go. I always like saying this. Oh, look at you. The